Does that mean you're going to buy it?
Space, the final frontier.
Blue skies smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right.
Let's see what's out there. Engage.
Hello and good evening for Thursday, October 10th, 2024. Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 1, Episode 21, The Arsenal of Freedom is over, and it has been since April 11th of 1988, but we're just getting started here on Live Long and Podcast for our live stream review as we continue our mission to watch every episode of Star Trek The Next Generation and review it and break it all down. I'm Dave Mader. I got a great panel here to break down this episode with you. First up, he came in at the last minute, a last-minute substitution from engineering. It's Justin Velociraptor.
Hey everybody.
Hey, you're not Adam Woodward, but he was supposed to be on the panel tonight. But he's coming back from Kitchener-Waterloo, as I understand. So thanks for coming in, Justin. Glad to have you with us off your hernia surgery.
Thank you.
We're still in recovery, but he's the painkillers are doing a lot there. We'll maybe put some roots on that. Of course, we got the one with the great fascinator herself. It's Heather Narduzzi.
Hello. I'm not on any painkillers, but I could be if Justin would share.
I'll FedEx.
Exactly. Well, welcome. We expect Jody Simpson to be joining us when he gets himself organized. What a slacker. Of course, we have the people here on the live stream review in the comments, like Norman. Lollipop, it's a good ship. I think we need that deserves a sound bite. Where is it?
The name of my ship is the Lollipop. It's just been commissioned. It's a good ship.
It's a great ship, the U.S.S. Lollipop. Oh, hello, Kitty.
It's Bob Seeger tuning in.
Yeah, against the wind, he's been.
He is.
Yes. Back from France as well. Oh, well, welcome back, Norman. You did not see the abandoned Picard winery. Well, thank you for looking into that. Avoid next week's Symbiosis Painkillers. And Sam's with us too. Hey, Sam.
Hi, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
All right. Yes. And thanks for being with us, everybody, here on Thursday. As I'm sure people noticed we weren't on Tuesday, and that's partly because I'm now on a curling team on Tuesdays, along with it's a Live Long and Podcast sponsor team too. With Jody Simpson, Kevin Millard, Adam Woodward, and our other friend Cole Rudnicki. So we won on Tuesday. We were great glory and honor to Live Long and Podcast with our win. But that has required us to change up our schedule here, move to Thursdays, and finish out. Hopefully, we're going to finish out season 1. We're also going to try to fit in a few more episodes because the goal is to finish season 1 before Lower Decks season 5 will be starting up in a couple weeks. Oh, there he is. He's added himself. Hey, Jody. Hello. Jody Simpson with us. Jody, it's a Thursday and you're here.
That's the reason why I'm here late.
Yeah, I was just explaining all that.
Congratulations on your curling victory on Tuesday.
I've had a lot of victories lately. I've had curling. I've also I remember I was with somebody and we won something recently.
That's correct.
Not that we should spoil anything, but
champions
we are. I'm champions in so many things now. I'm starting to lose track.
Right. Well, and Norman, we are going to do we're going to fit Symbiosis in on Monday because it's Thanksgiving Monday, and we're not doing the Orville on Monday. So I'm like, we can fit one more episode in there, and then we are going to do the Skin of Evil, the Death of Tashiar, 1 week from tonight. So look out for that. But we're still 2 episodes away from those events. Let's talk about this episode, the Arsenal of Freedom. In this episode, the crew investigates the disappearance of the U.S.S. Drake. They travel to the planet Minos, where an away team and the ship are separately attacked by the demonstration of automated weapon system. We get a great character called the Peddler in this episode, played by horror legend Vincent Schiavelli. He was in Ghost, if you remember the guy who Patrick
He was
Swayze.
the subway ghost.
Subway Ghost, who he learns how to move the quarters with and all that. I just want one drag, man. Just one drag. But he's a very different character in this episode. And so we're gonna break all that down. Jody gets his first kind of command here. Gets challenged by some lieutenant we never see again, and
He's already more competent than Worf.
Well, hey, Worf, he can make a target lock fast, man. Like,
how fast can you do it?
Fast. Don't worry, Jordy, I can do it fast.
He doesn't say how fast because he knows he doesn't really know. It's just like, yeah, it's fast. Yeah.
Do not flex, Jody.
Do not flex, Jody. Wow. I'm not sure what I'm flexing about, but okay.
I think all your wins lately.
Oh.
No, I think he's trying to get you to flex your muscles and like show which way the gun show
The
is.
guns. Ooh.
Mhm.
You know what? I can't even fit them in the frame. That's how big they are.
So I'd always like to just get a high level
my head.
sort of high level temperature of the panel coming into the review of this episode. Maybe start with Heather. How do you feel about the Arsenal of Freedom?
Well, from a fashion standpoint, it was very disappointing. Only the peddler had a costume, and it was kind of a boring costume. But from a non-fashion standpoint, it was a pretty cool episode. And I don't remember having seen it. When I watch Next Gen, I generally don't go to the first season. Like, I've watched so many of the episodes, so many millions of times, but I was legit. I did not remember how it turned out. So it was exciting for me. It was a pretty cool episode. I enjoyed it. And I also, on a Tasha Yar note, I'm not surprised that they killed her off so soon because they really didn't know what to do with her. You know, and it's very visible in this episode. She's kind of like all over the place. You know, no good characterization.
Imagine if they killed off Worf, though. That would have been way better.
Yeah.
Leave Worf alone, Jody.
Leave him alone. He can do target locks fast. Yeah, I think that they kind of, because apparently Worf was added to the cast at like the last minute. Like, he was like all the other actors. And I just heard this on the Michael Dorn interview with Michael Rosenbaum last week.
It was a good interview, actually.
Yeah, he's like, all the other cast had to go through months and months of screen tests and auditions, and then like they came up with this Klingon character of Worf at the last second. They auditioned Michael and who was the other one? It wasn't James Earl Jones, but
Uncle Phil.
James Avery.
Yes.
Yeah. Another James. James Avery.
James Avery would have been amazing.
No, but like, I don't know. Remember that Klingon he played in Enterprise?
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Enterprise sucks.
Well, we've been through this on the Enterprise.
That's subjective.
I used to say the same thing, but then we went through and we watched them all together. And by the end, even Kevin, who really hated it,
was a diehard hate Enterprise.
Hater.
And even he's like, yeah, no, it's good.
I
didn't realize how good it was.
It's better than I gave it credit for a long time, but it's not my favorite by any means.
Like, it's not the greatest Star Trek in the world. Like, it's definitely not. But
it belongs.
It's better than fucking.
No, it's not, Jody.
Yes, it is. 100% better than.
Well, that's the ongoing debate of what's
There's
at
no
the bottom.
debate.
What's
Anybody
at the
with
bottom
fucking
tier?
eyes and ears can figure that one out.
Right.
Anyway, so the Arsenal of Freedom.
Oh yeah, we're talking about that.
Well, Justin, let's go over to you next. You watched it a week ago. You said.
Yeah, a week ago, came in on the last minute here. It's not my favorite of the first season. It's a little bit inconsistent in the pacing, I felt, but I really did like how Jody gets his first real command test, because Jordy's one of my favorites, right behind Data. And the relationship between Picard and Crusher, I think, in this episode is demonstrated most clearly in his tone and how soft and caring he is about her. But it also cements her as a solidly strong character because she doesn't let her injury become a liability, right?
Right. You gotta elevate
so
the legs.
It's pretty good, but not my favorite. The effects are a little they're very dated, let's be honest. But I mean, this was the 80s.
That's how we did it in the 80s.
That is how we did it in the 80s.
They didn't know yet. It was the 80s.
They didn't know yet.
They didn't realize what we were capable
Justin probably
of.
doesn't get that reference.
Because back home we did the original series review with my dad, and every time we were like, "This seems kind of misogynistic or kind of
kinda sucks.
racist,"
And he's like,
he's like, "It
"Ah,
was the '60s. We didn't know about that stuff yet."
everything
like-
that was the answer for everything that we pointed out wrong with Star Trek: The Original Series.
Yeah.
It was the '60s. We didn't know any better.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
We didn't know that women aren't inferior.
Yeah,
It was
we were
the
just learning this.
60s.
We
It was
just
the-
figured it. We only
They were
figured
just
this out in
inventing
the
those
70s.
ideas.
It was the 80s, you know, we were supposed to be making friends with the Russians, so the Klingons were no longer our enemies.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of that is kind of the like Undiscovered Country is definitely about that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, all that too. But Jody, let's go over you next. Where's this one rank for you? Sort of, you know.
Okay, so I look at this episode as the turning point of the series, and I'm going to tell you why. Because number one, actually, a lot of things that Justin brought up are exactly on point to what I'm thinking, which is you get to see a side of Picard where he's not the asshole that we all think he is. Because let's be honest, every episode before this, dude's kind of an ass. All right. So we kind of get a more caring side of him. We understand that he can actually be sympathetic. So we get to see that. And of course, the Crusher thing, exactly what Justin said, completely spot on there. We get to see how strong of a woman she is and how strong she is as being a lead of a department. So I like that. I also like the progression with Jody. I think if it wasn't for this episode, Jody wouldn't have been in engineering come next season. So I think this is kind of a transition thing. Everything, I'm not going to say that the pacing is good because I don't think it is either. To be quite honest, I'm literally just repeating everything that Justin's already said, but not intentionally. But yeah, no, it's and I completely agree with Heather as well. The outfits are not good. They're just not good.
Well, and the set on the planet is,
But I like the story.
I do like the story. What I think stood out for me watching this one was that almost all the cast, it's very ensemble. Every main character, Wesley's not in the episode, but aside from him,
That's why I enjoyed it.
Yeah, maybe that's so. But like Geordi of course has a big storyline, but so did Worf's involved with that, and Dr. Crusher, Picard. You got Tasha, Riker, Data on the planet.
Everybody with the exception of Troy has something to do,
and even Troy gets a moment in the episode.
So I did get a little moment. And she looked beautiful and gave Geordi a nice little pep talk, which was nice. It wasn't like super great, but it was better than like, Captain, I'm afraid, which is what they usually give
Captain,
her.
they're deceiving us.
I sense something, but I don't know what.
Yeah, she always senses something, but she never knows what it is.
Yeah. So it was nice to have her come in and say, this is what I'm sensing, and I'm going to talk to you about it, and this is what I think you should do, So that was nice for Troy.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. Like, and it gives something for everybody in the episode, even if it's small. Norman feels it's one of the better of the first season episodes. Not that it's anywhere close to yesterday's Enterprise. No, I'm like, it's not necessarily as good as those iconic episodes, but I think that this is a pretty decent one. I think that the pacing's a little off and it's kind of forgettable, but it's also kind of not, because there's some good characterization. And I think that I couldn't help but think about like just the modern drone warfare that we are, is increasing on Earth now, and like that, the fact that all these people were destroyed by this technology.
I really like the use of a war and arms dealership as central themes to this episode.
Yeah,
especially for when it was set too, or when it was made rather.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, like it feels like
to
it
me
hits
it
home
feels
now.
like an episode that kind of it almost starts making me understand what they're trying to achieve in this series. Even though that we've already had I think it was like 21 episodes before this, or 20 episodes before it. I think this is where it kind of this gives the old school people their kind of ensemble, everybody's kind of doing their thing kind of stuff, but we're also getting more emotion, and we're getting more of the things that we need to see as a progressive audience as well. So I think it's I think when you look at it, I think it's definitely a turning point in my opinion.
But Jody, just to sorry, 1 second, Justin, but just Jody, this is the episode that introduces to canon Crusher's grandmother, and the fact that she's good with roots, and
she's good with
candles
and banging ghosts too.
Right? Yes, this is almost a prequel to Sub Rosa.
So personally, I just think there was
it's a slow burn. They waited 7 seasons to come on with Sub Rosa, but they planted the seed right here.
No, it's not a slow burn. That wasn't a beeswax candle.
No, it was a sexy ghost candle.
Yeah.
The fastest burning
that is
kind.
the most terrible episode.
Can I order that from Bath and Body Works?
Oh, possibly. With the special holder.
Scent of old grandma.
Duncan McGear. Zorro, we'll call it.
Honestly, if I never see that episode again, I'll be a happy man.
Oh, it's one of my favorites all time.
Yeah, it's so good.
Bad.
Yeah, but this isn't the Sub Rosa review. This is
true.
The Arsenal of Freedom.
I got many years before I can bitch about that one.
Right. You want to hop into the screenshots, run through what we saw?
Yeah, sure. We're already here. We might as well.
Let's do it. Okay, so the Enterprise arrives at Minos, and there's no contact with this planet for some time. They know that there was a war being fought here, and they sent a ship to go investigate, and then the ship wasn't heard from, the U.S.S. Drake. So, basically Riker gives a report here that, well, there's no communications, there's nothing to see here. And
go back a couple. One more, right there. Okay,
this one.
No, yeah, this one right here. What's Worf doing?
He's
smelling Riker's net.
Doing fucking nothing. That's the answer. All right, keep going.
He's like he wants Riker to stop touching his work.
He's thinking about how to get into that tactical position.
Personally, I think he's just Windexing the consoles. That's my theory.
It's unclear what he does in this first season because it's not like they replace his role after.
No,
so
they didn't have to.
No, basically.
And I love Michael Dorn. Don't get me wrong, but Worf is a terrible character.
Nobody loves Michael Dorn as much as Michael Dorn loves Michael Dorn.
That's true. Michael Dorn really loves Michael Dorn.
I wasn't asking you.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't. All right. Well, then, so Riker comes over and talks to Picard about how he knew the captain of the U.S.S. Drake, Paul. Yeah, there you go. Paul Rice. Don't forget about Mr. Captain Paul Rice. He knew him at the academy. He got the Drake, and there is kind of how Paul Rice of the Drake managed to beat some tests at the academy. There were 3 options. He came up with a 4th option, and Picard's like, "That's impressive. What a thing,
And then he was like, "Didn't Kirk do that with the Kobayashi Maru?" Old news, Rice.
But what's also mentioned in this episode is Tasha says, well, you were offered command of the U.S.S. Drake and you didn't take it. And he goes, yeah, well, I thought, be better as a first officer. This is the first kind of mention that Riker could be a captain in his own right. The fact that he's choosing to be the second in command of this ship is the first episode. I think it's formally kind of introduced that idea, but it will follow through for
basically Riker needs to be on the largest ship in the fleet just so that way he's got good possibilities for women.
He needs more people. The Drake. We find out that the U.S.S. Drake can only go to warp 3.
Ugh, why
boring?
So, might as well just go home then.
Right. So
can't get away from the queue that way.
You're not picking up any Orion girls in warp 3 ships.
Nope.
No. They can't even go as fast as Enterprise. So
Enterprise can go up to what?
Warp 5.
And NX can go to 5, right?
Yeah, that's what was like such a big deal. Anyway, but then they get a hail from the planet. Look who it is. It's Vincent Scavelli here.
I never know that guy's name, but you just can't not know who he is,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's in quite a few things. What does he say? Like, welcome to our planet here.
And he does like the little sound thing.
Yeah.
Welcome to Minos, the arsenal of freedom. If you need a little something special, be it for one target or multiple targets, we got it. You'll see it here on Minos, where we live by the motto, peace through superior firepower. Remember,
the Americans will
the early bird that hesitates gets worms.
So we find out that the planet's computer systems have scanned their language banks, right? And they say, so they must have said but they don't say properly, like the early bird gets the worm. but they're trying to convey that they're like the early bird who hesitates gets worms.
Basically, like Surrey.
Right? Yeah.
Sometimes she understands you, sometimes she doesn't.
It's a bad translation, right?
Yeah.
But it's still the rest of it comes through here, and there's kind of this unsettling feel. Like everyone on the planet is dead. There's no one alive on the planet, but there's still like this recorded message that keeps talking as Picard tries to talk back to it. It's a bit unsettling, but we also get like this kind of a smarmy salesman guy, right? Who's like the peddler.
I absolutely love this. I think this is fantastic.
Yeah,
I just like the idea of like it's an arsenal planet, like you can buy whatever you want, like weapons wise, but yet nobody's there.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's the where we believe that peace is achieved through more firepower. Well, doesn't seem to quite work out. It's kind of a message from the dead, right? In a lot of ways, and a tomb here. But he says, come on down, and then Picard finally tells it to shut up and turn it off. So Picard says, well, we're gonna have to go down there and find out what the hell's going on. So get an away team. So Riker pulls it together, and then Tasha's like, I don't think we should take too many people. Just like you meet.
There you go. Good. That's exactly what she should be doing.
Right.
Gee, on a planet where that's known for selling weapons to anybody, yeah, no, you probably shouldn't go all there yet.
Yeah, and
Kinda
he's like,
makes sense.
I thought you would have thought the opposite. Let's bring lots of security officers. But she's like, well, if everyone's dead on the planet, so maybe we shouldn't take too many people.
Maybe we shouldn't kill off our guys too.
Yeah,
Who knows if it's a pathogen or something?
It was the right suggestion, so good on Tasha. Points there.
Tasha was a far superior security chief.
Yeah, I don't know about that. And then
I'm just grinding some gears now.
Yeah. So yeah, but a bit of an ominous thing. Like, what are they going into? And that is our teaser for the episode as we head into it.
Anyone else noticed how much Minoan references there are? Like Minos, Minos in
There's
this first season.
Yeah, Minos Corva. Is that like a?
That's the only encyclopedia volume they had. They're like,
yeah,
we'll just take all those.
It's definitely like a name they use so many times. I feel like a lot of stars do have this name or have this. I don't know. It must have some kind of.
There's actually a website somewhere. I can't remember who did it, but there's a website where the guy actually goes down the list of all the planets, but he goes like, this is how many times it was referenced. And then there's some that have been referenced like 25, 30 times in like 2 episodes, It's crazy.
I'm not sure what Norman's referring to, but Justice Jody. All right, the Arsenal of Freedom. So we beam down to this planet, which is, clearly just they're still trying to do this original series thing where, we're just redress this sort of set as a new planet every time, but it's obviously a soundstage.
Wow. This was
okay.
This was season 1 startup money.
Yeah, I know.
Let me tell you, I was at the local nursery before I came home to watch this episode and do this podcast. And this is literally just house plants all over the soundstage. And they're like, this heavily forested area, bitch, that's a palm that you bought at the store.
Put 2 trees together, yeah.
Yeah. Like it's very bizarre.
Yeah.
But it's heavily forested. Look, there's like 3 spindly plants in the background.
There's a part heavily forested this way.
There's actually a part where Riker's like, I can't
skies.
see through all this underbrush. There's so many plants.
Yes. I wish I had watched it before I went to the nursery because there's actually a part where they're like peeping behind plants. And I really would have taken a photo of myself like sneaking behind the plants.
Should have did that.
And they've got the fog machine going. So, it's very jungle-y.
Yeah, because there's
Can't be on another planet.
so many
unless there's
fogs
fog.
in the jungle.
Yes.
That's why you don't see all the Q markers on the floor.
So they're kind of looking around here. They find this melted, what is it called? Tritanium, which is melted. And apparently that freaks them out because they're like, what could actually do that?
It's hard to melt that, apparently.
Apparently hard to melt that, even with the Federation technology of the 24th century. So they're a little weirded out by that. And then Data calls them over and goes, hey, have a look at this. And they find this big space laser thing that was, probably a demonstration model or whatever. But I guess you get
it's bigger than mine.
I guess even just covering it with the brush kind of gives you a sense of that some time has gone by since
or someone's hiding it.
Or someone's hiding it. Yeah, like they'll never find this.
They'll never find this with this big huge steel thing behind
I
all this
just-
brush.
That does look intimidating, I will say. Then we get this young ensign who's introduced in the episode, Ensign Leon Sue, or I think it's just Sue. Sue. She's in the episode quite a bit, taking over for Data at Ops. And she says, well, we're detecting power near you, Riker. This is where he's like, I can't see through all this dense forest.
That's when they took They took all 7 plants and put them
Just put
in
them all in
one
front.
like place for Riker
One
to peek
cluster.
through.
Yeah.
I can't get through these Boston ferns. Help!
help me. But just then, guess who it is? It's
The star of the show.
it's Riker's old friend, Captain Paul Rice.
This guy is so fucking creepy.
Captain Creep Ass. Yikes!
Oh yeah, very.
He's
creepy.
like, can you tell me where the nearest nursery is?
Can you? Yeah, like he is.
I've been
he's
trying to
upset.
reach you about your starship's extended warranty.
Yeah.
Like some air duct cleaning.
I like it.
Yeah. So Riker's being all friendly. He's like, "What happened to you? I couldn't find you. We all thought you were dead." He's like, "I'm fine." So Riker, what's up with your ship?
So my
Yeah.
question is, why does it take 2.5 minutes to go through this conversation with the guy before Riker clues in that it isn't him? Like it takes him a little while, and it's like,
it's only when Picard tells him there's nobody standing in front of you.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
That's
but
kinda what
it's like,
happens here.
And then Riker's like surprisingly chill about it. There's
Yeah, he's
nobody
like,
standing
"Oh,
in front of
cool."
you. He's like, "That's fine. I'm just talking to a specter in the fake jungle, I guess."
Right. Yeah.
This is
She's like, "Oh."
foreshadowing Crusher again.
Yeah. So then he becomes cocky Riker, or kind of aggressive Riker, at least.
Where's the candle?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this guy's so unsettling, this captain. He doesn't refer, like, he is Riker. Well, if he was real, he would have been Riker's superior officer, but he's not. But he's, pretty casual with him.
But he only knows the information that's in the system, right? So it's
Yeah.
like-
So, we imagine that this machine killed the Drake, Captain Rice, and, the Drake whenever they were here. And that's how they have his image.
But he's asking for like specifications of the Enterprise, which number one, I'm pretty sure pretty much anybody in Federation probably knows. But on top of that, it's like when he's asking Riker this, Riker's like, this doesn't even phase him. He's just like, like,
He's like, "You're on the Enterprise, aren't you?" He goes, "Oh, well, I already played it once, but no,
Yeah.
my ship is the Lollipop.
The name of my ship is the Lollipop. It's just been commissioned. It's a good ship.
It's a good ship."
I thought that was super cute. I really like that.
Not familiar with the Lollipop.
not sure cute's the word, but all right.
Not Captain Creepo. I mean the shit lollipop.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was referring to. I think he's handsome.
And then finally, he's like, "Paul, you have never used my first name once." That's where he like loses it here on the imposter, and all of a sudden, Captain Creepo disappears, and look who it is. It's a bottle of shampoo with pantyhose over it or something. It's the drone.
It's probably a pantyhose thing, yeah, for sure.
No, I read that in the trivia that this is apparently how they made this prop, was through a bottle of shampoo and pantyhose, and some lights, I guess. Yeah, it's like this drone thing that's here to get them, and this is where the Picard's like, "You better get out of there." But as they're about to beam out, Riker is thrown into a stasis field, and then Tasha, fires her phaser and destroys it. So Riker is now in this energy field. They don't know what to do. They don't know if he's alive or dead, and it's quite tense. As Data's trying to kind of figure it out. Riker doesn't know or Picard doesn't know what to do. They can't beam up Riker, so they're not beaming up the whole away team at this point. And so Picard decides he's going to go down himself, and he's going to leave Jody in command, which will set up a lot of this episode, right? And Deanna Troi goes, "I object to you going." He's like, "Noted, but don't care. See ya."
Yoink.
Right. But technically, yeah, and Troy does outrank Geordi, but he does not even suggest that he should.
Which I also think is a stupid thing in this series.
Well, it's not until the episode with O'Brien and Rolaren in Disaster where
that's when we actually, she pulls rank on people. It's like, oh, give me.
Well, it's only because O'Brien suggests it in that episode, right?
Yeah.
But nobody here goes there. And what's interesting is like the second Picard decides I'm going, and he puts Geordi in charge, so Geordi has to leave his console. This guy immediately comes up from wherever to take over from Geordi at the helm. I'm like, that is efficient. How did he know?
He just wanted to rub nipples with Picard.
Well, probably.
Who wouldn't, though? Let's be honest.
Yeah. But Troy's feeling pretty uneasy about all this. She's not too happy with Picard and Riker going down to the planet. As Picard tells Dr. Crusher, meet me in the transporter room. We're heading down, right?
Crusher's such a badass in this episode.
She is. You know, this is probably some of the best stuff in season 1 for Crusher.
For sure. Yeah.
She doesn't really get to do anything here to help Riker. Like that's not. No. She doesn't.
He's like, he's frozen. At least we won't have to deal with all those pregnancies on the ship.
She's like, so there doesn't seem to be a medical problem here, but I was brought down. I see. So Data's like, I think I can do it with the phaser and get him out of here. So that's what Data starts working on. Up on the ship, Worf reports, I think there's something weird coming at us here, Jody. And then we just see like the drone, the Echo Papa, whatever, 6-7 drone coming at them, and it starts firing at them. They better run. They're under attack. Picard
they don't seem to react very fast on that first one, though.
Yeah. And Dr. Crusher, while they're running away, she runs into a big old hole in the ground.
This fall is just epic, though.
Yeah, and she manages to...
Whoa!
This is where she pulls Picard into the hole with her.
Yes.
Yeah, so there you go.
I would like to know if we need an itemized list of super common houseplants on that set.
Sure.
Devin, I actually thought of you when I was watching it and naming them all in my head. And I was like, I bet me and Devin could come up with a total list.
Apparently people also wonder if I'm alive or dead.
Well, hey, you're alive, Jody.
It depends.
You're still here.
It depends on the day.
Yeah.
And whether
so we're told this
candle.
We're told this fall is 10 meters.
That is...
what is that, like 3 floors?
10 meters? Well, 10 meters. Well, there's what? 3?
It's like 30 feet.
That's like 30 feet. Yeah.
So maybe
it's
only
not that far.
It's not that far. Like when Data jumps down here, I'm like, I think he can do it.
But she landed on some rubble, though.
She did. Like Crusher takes this fall much worse than Picard does. She manages to have multiple lacerations, broken arm, broken leg, concussion.
She was impaled with something too, wasn't she?
And somehow she's buried in sand as a result of this fall.
Well, that's the sand that came in from the hole.
So I guess it was there was no way to see the hole. I guess it was covered with leaves.
We wouldn't know that because the fog was covering it.
Hard to say.
It's the fog that fell.
Velvet fog. But yeah, more of this, like I guess this intimacy with Picard and Crusher, that I had forgotten much about. Like when they get remember when All Good Things where you find out that they got married and then divorced, and then I guess in Picard they established that they did have a kid and all that. I guess a lot of this was set up with them in season 1, and I'd forgotten all that. So it's kind of interesting going here through this rewatch and kind of establishing that was kind of always
definitely a little bit of tension there. Yeah.
Kind of like the original intent between these two characters.
It's like if you weren't bleeding and broken, I might make a pass at you.
He landed on. Yeah, well, he did. Where he crawled over to her.
I would have landed on her.
So here comes the drone thing as Data's trying to phaser Riker out of his little force field there, and we see here that the drone is dodging Tasha's phaser strikes. And anticipating.
I want to know why everybody's so surprised by this. It's like, what? They don't have like dodging things in the future? Like, of course it's going to try to self-preserve. Like, that's kind of the point.
But yeah, I guess the idea that they're trying to establish here is that these machines learn and improve, which I guess, again, it's the 80s. We didn't know yet.
Yeah, in the 80s, I guess that makes more sense. But
right. Yeah. And I was like, you guys really have bad aim with these lasers.
Yeah.
Or phasers.
Also, Tasha with the classic, like, extra hand phaser shot.
Oh, where she's always got that. She's doing the stabilization.
She's
got to make sure that puppy goes straight.
Yeah.
And you always notice Data's left-handed with his phaser, too.
Maybe he's left-handed in real life.
He's left-handed android. Well, he probably is. Anyway, so then they say, this is when they realize they can't reach Picard and Dr. Crusher on their comm badges, and they can't call the ship either. So they're cut off from communication. We see here Crusher's in bad shape. Picard's trying to help her, but she's in a lot of pain. They realize that their communicators aren't working, and then Data keeps going here.
So this scene here with Picard and Crusher, I'm not sure if it's this part specifically or if it's a little later, but when y'all were saying at the top of our review that you thought it was seeing a softer side of Picard, like how gentle he was with her and his bedside manner, I can see that, but I also made a note that he was a bit rough, like when she said, "Oh, I mustn't lose consciousness," and he goes, "Hey," and like smacks her in the face, like.
But he was doing what he had to do.
Hey, come on! He could have been a little more gentle, but he literally went, "Hey," and smacked her with the back of his hand.
It was the 80s. We slapped women.
It's the 80s. We didn't know.
We didn't know yet.
We didn't know yet.
Right.
Start the hate mail train for me.
So then Data gets here with his phaser. He figures out he can do like a different setting, get Riker out of his little force field.
That's quite a spread shot, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I just do this and that's good.
Grace is like, shit, now I got to do something.
Now, they don't explain to Riker what's happened. So was he aware while he was in the force field about what was happening around him?
I didn't get the impression he did.
Because they don't have to explain, like, hey, you were in a force field. He's not surprised that Captain Picard and Dr. Crusher are here. Or any of that, right? When they tell him.
Then he must have been.
I always figured he was conscious during it. He just couldn't move or react.
Couldn't move or say or blink or anything, but he could hear. That would even be worse, right? If you sort of, frozen. Because the idea was that those drones were going to take him back for a more thorough interrogation later. That's why they put you into the stasis field. I guess
Christ, I'm white. All right. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, you mean on camera?
Yeah, like I'm like,
okay.
I'm like blinding myself.
Blinded by the light. All right. Meanwhile, I think the Enterprise is starting to deal with their own issues up in orbit as these drones are now can even attack starships, not just people on planets. And the Enterprise is in for a rough fight here as they're getting beat up quite a bit. And they can't get a target lock. The ship seems to be cloaked. They don't know what to do. And I think this is when we're getting the calls from Lieutenant Jerk in engineering, who goes, "What the hell is
Engineer Logan?"
Logan, yeah. I forgot about Logan. Logan comes up. And he goes, "What the hell is going on?"
What a hunk, though! Look at his like coiffed hair.
Dude just came from like an Elvis impersonation place or something. Like, my God, what's going on there?
He feels straight out of the original series. This guy,
he does.
Beamed up from the U.S.S. Reno.
yeah, exactly.
Right
from the lounge.
and I like how he's like to Jody. He's like, okay, but I outrank you. I'm a full lieutenant. You're a lieutenant junior grade, so you should hand over command to me. Picard wouldn't have put you in command if he knew there would have been a battle. And he's like, he wouldn't have left the ship if he knew there would be a battle. But it is what it is.
So realistically, even though I think the guy's a prick, he's actually right. Because if somebody is on the bridge that is of a higher rank than the person that's in charge, they could easily take over. That is like kind of the way it's supposed to be. Yeah.
But only if you're in the command structure, like in the command
track.
He's still in the command structure though. So
I guess
it could go either way, but
like if Dr. Crusher was present, she wouldn't supersede Data.
But Dr. Crusher is actually one of the highest ranks on the ship because she has the ability to.
She holds a rank of commander, but I don't she only commands the Enterprise once in the entire, and that's only because everyone else leaves the ship. They have like a.
And then later on, they give her that ship that just looks like a big ball.
The Pasteur.
The hospital ship, but that was that timeline was changed.
I'm just saying, I don't think it's a coincidence that Chief Engineer Hunk Face comes on the bridge and acts like a dick to Geordie, and then all of a sudden,
like, "I'm going to take your job next season."
Geordie's the chief engineer, and Ensign our chief engineer Sexy is nowhere to be found. I'm just saying maybe there was an airlock accident of some sort.
It was probably Geordie.
Yeah,
got him a little too close to the warp. Core.
Well, and Geordie gets promoted to full lieutenant next season too, so he'll take this guy's job.
You know what? I think Heather's onto something here.
Yeah.
I think
you're ignoring my greater rank and experience.
How could you do that?
Now I'm in charge until relieved by Commander Riker or Captain Picard.
But that's not true at all.
When I was watching this last week, I thought that Logan was one boy away from this being a very racist scene.
Yeah. I was on that fence too.
Yeah, well, there's definitely some tension.
One of the many chief engineers that disappeared, apparently.
Yeah,
so
well,
true.
one of the many.
There's
one of the
chief
many.
engineers just left, right, and center in season 1.
They had
How
a
many
hard
times
time.
is Jordy yelling about a coolant leak throughout this series? People are dropping from coolant left, right, and
It
center.
must be coolant. Yeah.
That's why none of these other chief engineers worked out because none.
Yeah,
of them,
because they couldn't do the stop, drop, and roll under the closing door when it's a
That's
coolant leak.
true.
Only Jordy knows
does-
that move.
Jordy does that like a pro,
Mhm.
Right.
especially for a blind guy. That's pretty impressive.
Right. This guy's, kind of looking over Jordy's shoulder, even though Logan is supposed to be in engineering.
Yeah,
but
it's
he's
like,
but he's
what are
up-
you doing there, dick nut? Get back.
Yeah,
to the
like why does he keep calling up? Like I'm gonna come up to the bridge.
He just
No,
doesn't like
stay in
Jordy.
engineering.
And I'm pretty sure Justin's right. That dude is racist.
There's definitely
Space
some weird
racism.
Space racism.
There's definitely some energy here.
Mhm.
I don't that might be subtly
It's
what they're
like,
going
I'm
for.
gonna go grease my hair again. Then I'm
Yeah.
coming back
More hair gel.
after I eat a
Let's
cheeseburger. Uh-huh.
And so he sends Logan away. And we keep getting looks from Troy. She doesn't have a
this
ton of
is-
lines, but she gives a lot
season
of
1
looks.
Troy is just, she's a statue. It's
A lot of meaningful looks. They would cut to her so she could
the
do a
same
meaningful
look all
look.
the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's the concern.
Marina, give us a look.
Yeah.
And
Marina, sit like a statue.
no problem. Down on the planet. Is this? Oh yeah, this is where they're getting attacked by the drones, and this stuntman Data throws stuntman
That's amazing.
Tashiar like this
He
crazy
just lofts her.
like this crazy like suplex here, like where he throws her across
He
the
just
thing,
throws her down.
and then Jonathan Frakes is running away from the drones and whatever. Yeah, actually, no, here's another.
And if you
shot
look
of it.
at it, you can clearly he yeets her across the room.
He like throws her like a football here. It's amazing.
Now you're hoping there's some sort of like padding there or something that person lands on, but
Yeah, but that's
I don't
clearly
know.
not Brett Spider at all.
No, very
Not even-
clear stunt work.
there's a reason why we had a fire shot on that scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as they're running away from these drones. Okay, now we're back.
Back in the
it's-
nursery.
Hiding amongst the dense foliage.
Yeah,
With
of
dense
course.
foliage and
all
fake
that
trees.
forest and those plastic plants.
Those plastic tree trunks are pretty amazing.
They're going for it there. It's just things, but it takes all three of them with their phasers to take out this drone.
You never cross the streams.
No, don't cross them. Just fire at it. It's a laser.
This is so weird how they had it first, like all the crisscross, and then they
Yeah,
all...
like how bad of a fucking aim are these guys? Like this is their
Terrible.
starting aim. This is
One of
the
them. One of them
starting
is an android.
Yeah, and one of them is like shooting. Who's the one that's on the far? Well, it'd be our far left. It's
Tasha.
So Tasha is actually like shooting completely away from it, like totally away, and then she brings it back.
It's
Right.
because of all the foliage, the
It's the
dense
foliage.
foliage.
I
And the
think-
fog.
I think the real reason for it is because they were trying to make sure it couldn't dodge away from a single blast.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, maybe we'll give you that one.
Maybe. Yeah. Well,
I might be
they have
giving them way too much
These
credit.
guys would be shitty Ghostbusters, though.
Yeah. Someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
Damn right.
All right,
You
back to
always say
the
yes.
Picard and Dr. Crusher in the cave. As
the
she's starting to
sandbox?
lose consciousness, but she says, "Don't let me fall asleep." So yeah, this is
This
where-
is
where
the
those-
scene. This is where he smacks
Yeah.
her.
smack
Hey.
her in the
He
face.
did
Hey,
the absolute right thing there. You got to keep her awake.
yeah. Well, he
Yeah, you
wasn't
got to
dead.
keep her awake, but you don't need to smack her with the back of your
If we'll
hand.
slap her. That's the only way she's gonna wake up.
You're
She just
getting a
puts it-
slap in a
She's
minute.
she's a heavy sleeper, man. Like, come on.
She's like, I was up early this morning. I need to go to bed. She says.
Like, she could be
Um,
on like 16 hours now, man. Like,
Right.
she could have been working pretty hard. Who knows?
We
She
don't know
mentioned-
what their past interactions were
That's
like. He
right.
might know that she's into that.
She might be like, woohoo, do it again.
Maybe more slapping in the face. I can't remember. Anyway, so she goes. I
You're
need an
tearing me apart.
They're tear-
All right.
I need a
Oh.
coagulant.
Hi, Jean-Luc.
Oh yeah, I got a butt shot here.
Ooh, hello.
He's looking at
Kind
the
of a flat
roots.
end there.
Beverly sends him after the roots. He's like, roots. She's like, take, put them in your mouth and
She's
don't
like, no,
swallow
not
it.
those ones, you dumbass. Get the ones
Very
that
bitter.
look like weed.
Very bitter. Put them on your hand. It's turning a yellowish color. Okay, good. Now you need to put that into my cut up leg.
Now, keep in mind, she's never been on this planet before.
Right. There's
Right.
Now, there's a couple of
And
lines here. Sorry.
until later when she gives us the backstory about her grandmother, and then you're like, okay, well, she has some knowledge of herbalism, but you're on an alien planet, and your first advice to your caretaker is grab some of that root and taste it.
Yeah, if you fall down, then it's one less person I have to worry about.
Especially a planet with no existing life forms left on it.
Yeah, there might be a problem here. That shit
don't
don't
swallow it.
radioactive.
If it had been a bad tasting, like because it was,
Like,
or
they could be
even worse,
sitting in the middle of Chernobyl for all they know. Like,
you know, she needs to stop the bleeding, so that's what they go with here. A couple of lines here where
The patient's going into shock. Elevate the legs and try to keep her warm.
elevate the legs and try to keep her
Slap her.
warm. And
You didn't happen to bring a blanket with you, did you?
yeah, she's getting cold too.
she's getting retarded, so that's why they have to keep slapping her.
I wonder if eating that stuff is what gave him the Irremotic syndrome.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh no!
It's caused by roots.
This is the missing link episode. This does everything.
It does explain everything.
Oh man.
Right. So they're getting ready to fight up in orbit. Jordy's trying to figure out how to do this thing. We find out that these two young lieutenants who are working under Jordy at Ops and
Who have both had
Con,
more lines than Worf, by the way.
or Deanna, I think even.
Yeah, even Deanna.
Oh, scant sighting in the background. I love peeping the scants in the first.
Oh yeah,
There we
yeah,
go.
Yeah, the people still wear it.
There's some legs going on there.
Yeah. What? Right, but like they're getting nervous. Jordy
Those
has to
boots
like
are
say
insane,
like,
by the way.
just do this, just do it better. But the Enterprise keeps getting pelted here. They're not doing any better up in orbit, and Worf tries to fire all this stuff at them, but it all misses.
They would have anyway. It's Worf.
Yeah. Wait.
Mock me.
I am mocking you. Jordy's
So-
surfing on the bridge.
Oh, here comes Troy with another look.
Lips
That-
slightly more parted this time.
This is like the look you go
Here, I'm
this
just
is
gonna do
almost
this for the rest of this podcast.
like, what are you doing, Jordy? They're starting to not do well here, and I think she's like, well, we'll come back to her speech later, but this is where Jordy kind of freaks out. And he says, "Lieutenant Hunkface, come to the bridge." And we feel like Jordy's tapping out. He can't handle the stress. He's gonna leave. There's a little bit of a cutaway here, and we come
And
back,
all of a sudden,
and
nobody that was standing there is there anymore.
all those people are gone.
All five of those people that were behind them are gone now.
They're done. And then Lieutenant Waters, what's his name? Lieutenant
Discount
Logan.
Elvis.
Logan.
Chief Engineer Logan.
Chief Engineer Logan. He says, okay, they're warping away. And when they warp away, he goes, Logan, you're gonna take command. He's like, great, of the saucer section.
You get all the women and children.
Yeah, there's 1,000 people on this ship. Well, and like it does make sense. Like this is one of the times where separating the ship makes complete sense to do.
Not only that, but we also get that cool like the
Little fanfare when they
the
separated.
fanfare rendition of the theme.
Right. So they're getting ready to separate the ship. This is where then Jordy goes into the ready room and he starts playing with Picard's stuff.
He's like,
he's never gonna let you command the ship again if you go in the ready room and start moving his stuff. Like, get it together.
Looks out the
Don't
window
touch
here.
the fish.
Well, you didn't see is him like tapping on the fish
Yeah.
bowl.
Are you in there?
Livingston!
Eat
Yeah.
that bitch.
Whatever he's looking at here on the monitor is unclear.
He's looking
but,
at Picard's porno.
Yeah. He's like, what is Picard?
What is
looking
this?
at?
What is this? Do not delete folder.
What's in his
Orion
cache?
Babe's gone wild. Picard.
Oh. So
That's why
then
he's
Troy,
got a warp 10 capable ship.
Troy shows up here
Well,
to talk to
9.99.
Jordy, and he goes, "You think I'm going to
You think I'm about to crack?
Oh, you?" She's like, "No, you're probably fine." It's the young lieutenants, Lieutenant Sue and Lieutenant Solace. They don't have battle experience. They know what to do, but they need some encouragement from you. Like as if
But they're gonna
Jordy's
be
like,
in the saucer section. What does it matter?
no, they're coming with him to the battle bridge.
Oh, are they? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, good, and he's like, thanks, Deanna. Good pep talk. I'm gonna try here, and they seem to appreciate it on both levels. So
I like that. I thought it was a good scene, and I think it was Norman that commented earlier. This is one of Counselor Troy's fortes, or something along that line. He said, and I think that's a good use of her skills
in this episode.
In this episode, talking about how to help the crew succeed by what she senses. You know. What was
Especially
that
a young
comment?
officer,
Yeah.
right? Cashier's like studying. Okay.
This one.
But she does take command in disaster over Rolaren, who is a commissioned officer,
Mhm.
right? You know,
Not
that's
that
before
she's trusted by anybody, but
that's before she goes through the command training.
that's true.
But anyway, so then we get the battle bridge here. We get the separation sequence, not as quite as pomp and circumstance as we got in the encounter at Farpoint, but some of those animations.
I'm pretty sure it's
reused.
the exact same ones, but
With the music's different, and like
the music's different though.
Yeah, and in Encounter at Farpoint, when they did the saucer separation, they had the joystick come up, and that really
he's like
that ruined it.
Yeah.
And I think I read somewhere, maybe you know, fellas, that the Battle Bridge set is the original series Enterprise Bridge redressed. Is that right?
I think it's the movie Enterprise.
It's the movie Enterprise, from what I know.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that makes complete sense, especially that view screen.
well, why not, right?
That's neat. Ed, can you go back to her? I know I don't have any fashion to comment on this episode, but Ensign Sue's eyebrows are crazy. Look at them. They go right in, like they did her dirty with those eyebrows, but her floofy hair is cool.
Yeah. She looks all right.
I'm glad you're here, because I would have been like, she's got eyebrows.
Overplucked. Overplucked.
And they've got them drawn in like really far. It's bizarre.
Yeah, all good. All right, so the ship separates here. Jordy's going back. As Jody heads back to the planet to try to save Picard and all them.
I hate the look of the Enterprise when it's just like in battle bridge mode.
Well, that's part of the problem.
I hate it. It's so terrible.
It like the drive section could look cooler for sure. Like I think when they designed it, they went more for function than form.
Yeah, I get the idea of it, but
like
every
Star
time I
Trek
see it, I'm
Online,
like, ugh.
Or even apparently we never got to see it in the movies, but apparently the Enterprise E could separate as well, and that looked like, apparently the drive section looked a lot cooler on that ship.
Yeah, because it kind of it almost is like it's almost like Voyager. Like it's got like a little kind of its own saucer section, and then it comes out from the
So it's more like, yeah, you're right. It's more like that arrowhead design.
We never got to see the captain's yacht in this series either, which is there.
No, we never got to see that either. We never got to see the main shuttle bay either. Like the one we see the smaller ones, but not the big.
We see the smaller ones. You never see the big one.
Because they never had the room for it. Anyway, so Picard back on the planet with Crusher as he's looking around the cave trying to find something. She's like, if you find an exit, just go. And he's like, are you
Tired of my company already?
are you tired of my company?
She's like, I'm tired of getting this shit slapped out of me. This is an abusive relationship.
He says, how do you know about those roots? Where'd you learn that from? She's like, my grandmother.
She used to fuck ghosts.
She explains that her grandmother and her lived on some colony that was a great tragedy that ran out of medicine, and like there was something bad that happened in Crusher's past. We don't get a ton of detail on this, but she
probably walked in on her grandmother once with the
spoon. She's like,
Grandma, what are you doing with that candle?
Yeah.
Why is the candle in there?
And Picard says something like, knowing that about your, like, he's like, I don't know you as well as I thought I did. Like he's literally known her for probably like 20 years, and he doesn't know this part about, where she's from or anything else. So it's kind of interesting. Anyway, so then Picard, in the midst of all this, finds a light on the ground. He goes, what the heck's this? Presses push the red button.
Which is clearly something that everywhere in Starfleet, they're like, you know what? You find a button on a foreign planet that you have no idea what it is. You better hit that fucking button. You press that button. And if it's red, make sure you press that button, because that's not the universal thing for no.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Riker has space ADD.
Yeah, he does.
The system here like lights up. Crusher's like, what the hell is happening? And he's kind of explaining what he sees
Her
here.
neck
But then
isn't fucking broken. Why can't you see that?
I don't know. She's not going to move. But the hologram activates here, and the peddler who we saw earlier is now activated as an interactive hologram that Picard can talk to now, as played by Vincent Chiavelli. You know, he's
Why, the Echo Papa 607, our proudest achievement, the ultimate in weapons system technology.
They did a really good job with casting for him. He's like
so creepy.
intense and creepy, and he looks a bit alien. Like
Yeah.
you buy him as an intergalactic arms dealer.
Yeah, you're like, you don't need to put anything on him.
No,
Impressive
he just that's his own
demonstration.
outfit. He just showed up like that, and he's like, "I'm ready, guys."
They're
This is
like,
just
put
how
a
he
little bit of
normally dressed.
foundation on this guy. He's done.
right.
They didn't even hide. They just showed up on set.
Yeah.
He's so eager. He's so eager to please, but you also know he's part of this system that killed everybody. Like, and there's kind of a weird energy to him.
Yeah.
You know, and everything else. And he's like, "Are you trying to kill my people up there?" He's like, "Of course I am. How could I show you how great this weapon system is?" Isn't it an impressive demonstration?
Versatile, powerful, and easy to use. The 607 does it all. Its various modules can gather information, neutralize ground personnel, even destroy enemy space vessels.
What?
Now, I just want to put this out there. What if he's not a hologram? What if he's a subway ghost?
Just one drag.
Ooh.
That's a good
Anyway,
question.
but then,
Maybe he was just trapped in the computer.
This is where Data and Riker and Tasha find them. They find the hole. And then I look how Picard walks away from the peddler here. He gets sad. He's like,
And he goes,
I thought I was making a sale.
He's like,
I thought he wanted to buy it.
I was about to show him some thermonuclear weapons.
As Picard is at the bottom here, they say that there's no way down here. I don't know.
There's clearly one way down.
Like through those,
Possibly two.
yeah. Right. Like,
go get one of those.
I need to
fucking
know how
fake
far this
trees
is.
and drop
10
it down
meters
there. You'll be fine.
in stories. 10 meters in stories is about 1.5. So
yeah, and they're like all nervous about Data. Can you jump down there? Of course, Data can jump down there. That's nothing for Data. Don't worry about it.
Well,
yeah,
I guess
like
the question is, how does he get back though?
So Jody, this is kind of like this week, kind of like jumping off my balcony. You've been to my place.
Actually, I think your balcony's higher than that. But yeah.
Well, I'm only one story up, not one.
Oh,
and a
yeah,
half,
that's true. Yeah, you are.
right.
Yeah.
So it would be like not quite from the
I
second
would
floor.
totally live if I jumped off your balcony. We'll have to try it next time.
But you might break your leg.
I don't even think I'd break my leg.
Yeah, but are you an android though? You're not going to.
I would have to tuck and roll. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Data's like, I think I could do it. And then Tasha and Riker are like, are you crazy? Look how far it is. You know, you're sturdy, but you can't do it.
Yeah, this is before they kind of really told us everything about Data, though.
Yeah, it hasn't
So,
fully established. Like, well, we saw
like for all we know, he's got frail legs, and the minute he lands, like it will just break him. Like we don't know that yet.
yeah, but they can really make it whatever they want, right? At this point,
Absolutely.
I think it's also, we've talked about before in the first season, the characterization of Data is a bit shaky. I mean, of everybody, but there's also a point in this episode, I think it's coming up soon, where they cut to Data and he's like almost smiling.
Yeah, there are moments like that. I think
You know?
kind of like how Spock had a couple of those moments early as well, because they were still kind of figuring the character out. But yeah, Data, he just kind of goes, "Okay, here it goes." Jumping down here, and he just lands here, and Picard's like,
"Well, here you go. Worldmind's got the answer. You can survive a 3-story fall if you keep your knees and ankles together." And he goes, "He learned that in skydiving school."
Ooh.
So there you go.
Knees and ankles together. Okay.
Yep.
I'll try to remember.
Hot tip. Thank you, Worldmind.
So
just in case the next time you jump off of a 3-story jump, he's got
Tasha and Riker could have made this jump too. Basically, we're saying
everybody could have made the jump technically.
Okay. Well,
except Crusher.
Well, Crusher clearly didn't. But
yeah. Picard.
But I think it's because Picard landed on her.
Picard doesn't even have a scratch on him.
No, we used Crusher as a landing pad.
Damn near broke her leg.
Right. But Tasha says, "Oh, that drone is coming back. They're getting smarter." And
Data wonder if this is when Jack was consummated.
Every 12 minutes,
it's different.
Every 12 minutes, one of these drones come back, and the next drone they're not expecting to be able to beat. Meanwhile, in orbit, Jody and the Enterprise drive section have returned, and this is where Jody gives a little pep talk to his young officers here.
The thing that I love the most about the battle bridge is the guy who designed the battle bridge also designed the lighting for everything in Picard and most of the stuff.
This has way more lighting than Picard.
Yeah,
that's true. Well, Discovery, same thing.
Right. Well, sometimes. But yeah, Jody says, "Come on, man.
Ride's gonna get a little bumpy. Things are gonna have to pass. Just keep alert, stay calm. Let's focus on what we're doing. You know your jobs. You've been trained, you've been tested.
Scared?
You've earned the right to sit in those chairs.
Earn the right to sit in those chairs."
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Little pep talk from Jordy, and somewhere Troy smiles.
Presumably on the saucer section where he left.
Yes.
So because she doesn't come along for this part. Anyway,
Worldminder having the biz in there.
Meanwhile, on the planet, Picard and Data are trying to figure out how to turn off the system, or how to disable it first, actually. And this is, and then Tasha and Riker are trying to figure out how to survive the next attack. She's like, maybe we could split up, and he's like, that doesn't seem tactically sound. But she's like, well, yeah, you're right. That doesn't make sense. And then they're getting fired at. So this drone.
I don't know if they were split up, they both wouldn't have been shot at just now.
True. Or they can only, but the thing did wipe out an entire planet. So whatever.
Yeah, I'm
here.
pretty sure it doesn't matter.
But then Crusher saves the day, where she says,
Why don't you just shut it off? It's a machine, isn't it?
Unplug that bitch and call tech support.
and then Picard's like, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, and she's got lacerations to the head, and she's still the smartest one on this.
The peddler says, "Why would we want to turn it off? I can't show. I have to prove to you that it's gone, right?"
The logic is
like, well, then you make yourself.
Does that mean you're going to buy it?
Does that mean you're going to buy it? Yes. You
won't be sorry.
That's how they should have ended this series, this episode, though. Like they go off to their next adventure, and then all of a sudden they get a communique, and here's the bill for what they just bought.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you owe some money.
Picard's like, fuck.
As we see here that the drone also disables at that moment, right when it's about to kill Riker and Tasha. Little did they know Tasha was about to die. Right? Anyway,
and she would have died way easier too.
All right. I guess this could have had more meaning if she had saved Riker or something in the process. Meanwhile, Geordi's still dealing with the cloaked drone up in orbit that is still trying to kill them, even though, so I guess Picard's sale does not change this part of it. And so Geordi's idea is smart here. He's like, let's just take the ship into the atmosphere. As we find out, it's heating up to 3,000 degrees Celsius as they are, getting that friction with the atmosphere. And they're waiting for the other ship to kind of show itself as it, flies in cloaked.
Okay, so I have a problem with this scene, and I'm going to tell you what it is. Okay,
what's that?
If you're going to fly into a planet, you get Deanna to do it. You don't get anybody else.
He's just
Deanna is the one that can crash it.
Yeah, he didn't want to crash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
well, I guess that's sound then.
Yeah.
What we don't see is the saucer section's already crashed somewhere.
Right. So once the other ship kind of reveals itself through like it entering the atmosphere, he goes, "Hey, Worf, you're up. You got it." And
Worf's like, "Were you talking to me?"
Boom. As the drive section, completely blows this thing up. You see it for half a second. It looks like a big version of like the drone.
It's just like a big version of the drone.
Yeah. But
economy-sized bottle of Pantene Pro V.
It's kind of incredible if they can make something that can fight the Enterprise like this. Like, it's amazing that people with just a couple hand phasers could even, defend themselves against any of.
Well, in the phaser that's on the Enterprise is a much bigger phaser.
Very powerful phaser. Yeah. So
yeah, you would think.
Right.
But Brad here does make a good point. The shields are down while burning up in the orbit. You should have blown them up. True. Yeah. But they're I don't know, they have like this victory here. Let's bring up the away team, and then Picard and Riker show up here. And look at how happy those two are, right?
Right.
When I left the ship, it was in one piece. I would appreciate you returning it to me in the same condition.
I gave you. Why did you bring this ship back to me in two pieces, Geordi? Riker's like, yeah, you're right, Captain.
Geordi should have been just like, it's easier on gas. Duh.
More fuel efficient, less environmental impact. As Geordi is going to fly the ship back with the saucer section, wherever that is.
Turns out it's the same size as the ones on the planet. It's just a perspective thing.
Is that true?
No, I'm sure.
No. Okay.
And the scariest thing of this entire episode, Gene Roddenberry.
All right. Well, that is the that is the episode. Thanks, for all of you stuck with us, and let's just hit up. Anyone want to volunteer for trivia?
I can do it if you want.
Okay.
What's
Fun
the name of this
facts
episode
with
again?
Jody.
I don't have it up, so just give me a second here.
Fun
Talk amongst
facts
yourselves.
with Dave.
Oh, is it fun facts with Dave now? Okay.
Story editor Morris Hurley saw the plot of the Arsenal of Freedom as a commentary on the sale of American Grumman F-14 Tomcats to Iran, taken to the ultimate conclusion. In 1974, Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi purchased 80 Tomcats and missiles for $2 billion. That transaction prevented Grumman from going into bankruptcy as the United States Congress was no longer funding the project. Iran was the only country other than the United States to use the planes. Interesting. There's also some stuff with Iran and the U.S. going on now. I don't know if you follow the news, but anyway. But Jody, are you ready?
No, I figured you were doing them.
I was just filling in for you
well, keep
while you pulled it
I'll
up.
go get it. All right.
You were going on about how you didn't have it ready and all
Well,
this
I
stuff.
still don't have it ready because I thought you were doing it. All right. Never mind.
I was just filling the time for you to go do it.
Hey, fair enough. Fair enough. It was a misunderstanding.
The original story had Picard injured and Crusher revealing her feelings for him while trying to save him from dying. Gene Roddenberry did not want to do a love story, and so it was changed.
Which is probably why they didn't develop that until after Gene passed away.
Maybe, yeah. Landau had been an assistant director on staff and became the first member of the production team to direct an episode with this one, The Arsenal of Freedom. Les Landau would go on to direct many, many episodes after this. I think Deep Space Nine and Next Gen, and Enterprise for that matter.
So footage of Riker from the scene with Rice was later used as a flashback in the series finale, All Good Things, so he could appear younger and beardless.
Oh.
The sand in the cavern was infested with fleas, which made the shoot an utterly miserable experience for Patrick Stewart and Gates McFadden, who were under constant attack by the minute of bloodthirsty creatures.
Oh, no.
That does suck. Yeah.
Somebody call WorkSafe because I am not getting in the flea sand, y'all. Forget
Yeah,
it.
at that point, it's like, whoop.
Mhm.
All right. The miniature of Echo Papa 607 was built by visual effects supervisor Dan Curry using an old Legs pantyhose container and discarded shampoo bottle. There you go.
You know what?
Oh.
It looks menacing. I think they did a good job.
I think you did great.
I think it looks like a butt plug. I did not find it menacing.
So all I can say to that, Heather, is perhaps maybe it's the audience that's interpreting something different there. All right.
It's definitely shampoo and pantyhose.
Or butt plugs. Anyway, this is the second time the saucer separation sequence was used in the U.S.S. Enterprise. D. The saucer is only shown being separated 2 more times in The Best of Both Worlds Part 2 to help distract the Borg cube, and in Star Trek Generations, everybody's favorite Star Trek thing, to evacuate the crew of the drive section before it is destroyed by a warp core breach. Gene Roddenberry originally intended for the ship to be separated more often, namely prior to the ship going into combat, but the special effects for the separation proved to be too expensive and the idea was shelved. And that's about it, Dave, I think. I don't think we need any more, do we? Oh, no, we got more. Okay, fine. I'll give you more then. You want more, Dave?
Yeah, I want more.
Okay, I'll give you more then. All right. At the beginning of the episode, it is revealed to Riker once turned down command of the light cruiser U.S.S. Drake. He figured it would be more advantageous to do a tour among the Enterprise. See, I was telling you it had to do with tail. Riker turning down the captaincy of his own ship remains second in command on the Enterprise, would become an ongoing theme in this series. That is true.
Yeah, I thought that was neat at the top of this episode. As I said earlier, I didn't really remember this episode, so I didn't realize that they established so early in the series that Riker had already turned down his own command.
Yeah, because sorry, I just remember that like Riker was a lieutenant commander on the Hood, and then he got promoted to first officer and commander when Picard recruits him to be XO. But I guess they were even looking at promoting him 2 levels, as early as this year.
Well, on a little dumb ship.
You want to be captain of this little dumb ship?
Yeah.
You can have this little puny ship if you want.
We'll give it to the race man. Okay, it's all good. Instead, but again, like another command that Riker presumably would have died on, right? Because in Best of Both Worlds, they say they almost give him the Melbourne, right?
The Titan, isn't it? No, the Titan is later.
There's a ship. There's a ship. There's a ship that he's offered, and then I remember like Commander Shelby was like, "Oh, there's that ship," and that was like the one that Riker would have been in captain of if he had taken if he had taken it, but he wasn't.
All right, one more for the road. The title is based upon The Arsenal of Democracy, one of U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt's fireside chats where he proposed to help countries threatened in World War II and keep America neutrality. We must be the great arsenal of democracy. So that's where they kind of got the idea of the inspiration of the title.
Interesting. Okay, well, thank you, Jody, for those fun facts. Fun facts.
It was very fun.
Now we rate this episode. And we're going to put some scores in.
Wow, I haven't rated a lot of these episodes. All right.
Yeah, you haven't been here since Home Soil.
You know what? I got my own show to run, Dave. I'm sorry.
I know. Well, we appreciate you coming in, Jody. Maybe you want to give us a score for this one.
For this,
I know you love going first.
You know what?
So.
I hate going first, but anyway, I'm gonna give this one a 7.5. I think it's solid.
7.5 from Jody. Okay.
Except for creepy pedo dude.
I'm gonna give it like a 6. It was a cool episode. There's some interesting things happened, but there were no good outfits, and Ensign What's-Her-Name's eyebrows were too weird for me. So 6.
All right, that's fair.
You lose 4 points just for that?
No, yeah. I have my standards, Jody. Okay.
Fair enough.
Justin?
I'm also going to give it a 6. It's, like I said, not my favorite. I think that the ensemble cast was a little underutilized. Not my favorite. I do like the shampoo bottle drone, though. That's lives in my head rent free, that one.
I feel like this is pretty rewatchable. I'm kind of on the same wavelength as Jody. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good, and so I'll give 7.5 as well. I think the Vincent Schiavelli alone is pretty memorable here. So we're averaging a 6.8 between the panel tonight. This has a 7.1 on IMDb. So it's kind of a lower. It's kind of mid. I feel like we're kind of on the right wavelength here. And so, yeah, anyway, the next episode is called Symbiosis, and we will be covering that on Monday. So tune in for that.
You're taking my slot, right?
Yeah, we're doing that. I think it's an all East Coast panel. We got Heather, Murphy, and Davin coming in. So
I know there are some good fashions in Symbiosis. I'm excited.
You do not take any shit from those people there, Heather.
I never do.
From the other East Coasters, we won't give each other shit.
We're tight now. We're a team.
Yeah.
Make sure you harass Davin. That's the key.
Always.
The peddler was in Bonds Tomorrow Never Dies as an assassin. Oh, okay, good.
I love everybody chiming in with all the different roles he's been in.
We have like a list of like seven different things he's been in.
Great.
If you can find it, check him out in Death to Smoochie.
Oh, Death to Smoochie! I have it on DVD.
Oh, I used to. I don't know what.
I have 2 copies of it actually. One sealed.
Did he play? Was he a character in Batman Returns with like the monkey?
Yeah, he was the organ grinder.
The organ grinder guy. Yeah, like he doesn't say a lot of that movie, but he's really fun in that movie.
That's what I'm saying. He's a guy that I wouldn't know his name, but I know his face.
Yeah,
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes, he was in that as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with he sadly died in 2005, so he's been he's been gone for almost 20 years.
That long? Wow.
He's kicking around a subway platform somewhere.
Oh yeah.
R.I.P. the peddler. Thank you for your service.
He's probably going after Crusher's grandmother.
Yeah, well, with all that, guys, thank you so much for being with us here tonight. We really appreciate it. Check out all the great content we have on Live Long and Podcast. We just had a debate where you and Heather were a team.
It's true, we were. Not only were we a team, we were the best team.
Champions.
Yeah, well, no spoilers, you know, but
I'll spoil it. We're
okay. Go watch their victory.
But go watch our victory. It was honorable.
Victory is life, as they say. And you guys were going to get some Babylon Fivers, and who was the other team? I'm trying to recall now.
They were
The Locutors of Trek.
The Locutors.
Mm.
Actually, Dave had some moments in that debate too. I gotta say, you know, so anyway, go check that out. Of course, the Monday nights usually we have the Orville review podcast hosted by Jody, but we're not on this Monday. We won't be on this one either.
No,
but,
we've been off for 2 weeks because I was stupid and I didn't pay attention. But we also but we'll be back. Not this Monday, but next Monday.
Next Monday. Of course, Star Trek Lower Decks just dropped their season 5 trailer today, and
which I have to admit, I'm pretty happy for.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited. You know, however,
especially Ensign Kim.
There was some talk about how we're going to manage all these podcasts. So we're going to the plan is we're going to kind of race to the end of season 1 of TNG here, get all these ones done, go into Lower Decks, and then once Lower Decks wraps up, we'll come back for season 2 of TNG.
Nobody puts me or the Orville in the corner.
That's right.
We're staying where we are.
We're staying on Monday nights where we are exactly. So look out for all of that here on the channel. I think that's
and more.
If there's anything else I've missed, guys, let me know. But
it's in the ending thing.
Ooh, check out Trivial Debates October 13th at 8:30 for one of 2 this month. It's a Halloween theme.
2 Halloween themed episodes.
Are you on one of them, Justin?
I do not believe I am.
No, I thought you were. Okay.
But you promoted it like you were. Like that was a great promotion.
You know what? I think he's now our PR manager.
I told him he's the intelligence officer as well.
Yes.
So he's although sometimes I think
just as long as you're not the chief engineer, because you'll disappear right quick.
And I'm allergic to coolant.
Although sometimes I think Murphy's like the intelligence guy because he'll just drop links and pictures of things
stuff in chat all the time.
He just drops it in chat and he just leaves it there, like kind of like a dog bringing in something from outside and just
he's like, here, look what I found, and then he
look what I found, and then you're like, well, what's the context?
Look at this cool link I found. All right, bye.
Just pulling URLs out of his handlebar.
Yeah, he just puts exactly.
He's like, here's another one. Here's another one.
I'll let you chew on this and decide what you want to say about it. You know,
that's what we like about him.
I'm sure I know because he's listening. So but anyway, intelligence all around coming around. Anyway, and check out tonight. I'm going to be back on with Jaemeel Robinson talking about Big Brother as we're almost done Big Brother on the Super Mater Brothers podcast as well. We were just on last night talking Survivor. So if you're into reality shows, go check out that channel and all of our great channels here. You know, on the United.
And if you're
Federation
not,
podcast.
just tune in anyway because there's some sexy men on that channel.
Yes, and with all of that to say, we'll leave you with a quote tonight. I don't know. How about one of the peddlers? When are we going to play him again? And we'll go with this one. Okay, see you next time, everybody.
Why, the Echo Papa 607, our proudest achievement, the ultimate in weapons system technology.
All right, good night.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on Trivial Debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.